I'm Dr. Mark Nesti. I'm Reader in Sports Psychology here at Liverpool John Moores. I lead the Masters in Sports Psychology degree, and I have a lot of expertise in applied sports psychology, particularly in relation to football. It's a really important part of the team here that we have expertise in football, particularly high-level professional football. It's very rare for academics to be allowed into that world. I think one of the reasons we've been allowed into that world is because of our research, also because of the focus of our applied work. The experience that I've had has been at least inside 3 Premier League clubs for 10 years, 10 seasons. Now that's delivering at first team levels. Again, that's extremely rare. Most sports psychologists, as well as academics, rarely allowed to deliver at that level because of reasons of trust and confidentiality. One of our colleagues at the moment, Dr. Martin Littlewood, is in at Everton. He's been inside Premier League clubs for many years. The reason that he's allowed to do this kind of work is because the department, the School of Sport and Exercise Science, are really keen to have academics who've got real life experience, so they can bring that back into the teaching as well as into our research and theory. So that should mean that for a student coming here, this will be, quite frankly, a unique experience. There are very, very few institutions across Europe who would have staff that got this kind of expertise. It may sound theoretical that we're interested in something like identity. It sounds very psychological and maybe a little bit detached from reality. But one of the reasons that we're interested in this topic is, again, from our applied work. Many of the challenges that athletes and coaches and other sports performers face in demanding environments, again, like professional football, professional or elite sport, is about a threat to their identity. And that can take many forms. For example, for footballers, young footballers that we may work with, that's often about deselection, about actually the weekly experience of not being involved in the team. It's sometimes about what happens when you don't move through the different transition stages. It's about facing the end of a career through injury. It's about a number of things that are part and parcel of high-level sport experience. Coaches are usually tremendously supportive, particularly in good clubs, good sport environments, but we think often sports psychologists are involved in working with athletes to help them to, if you like, sustain that identity, to develop a richer, deeper identity, to deal with the shocks to the system that you face in high-level sport. It's not that there's something wrong with high-level sport in terms of its threat to identity, but there's a need for considerable support, and we think as sports psychologists we should provide that. I think first of all, in terms of our applied focus being unique, we're very critical at times of the over-reliance on just mental skills training. Mental skills training really means the use of techniques like visualization, self-talk, goal setting. Really effective techniques, but not sufficient. They're really just dealing with the symptoms, the very sort of quick fix approach mostly. We find from our applied experience and theoretical understanding that there's something deeper needed, a more sort of personal approach, a counselling-based approach, if you want, where you're dealing with the whole person in front of you. It's a long-lasting piece of work that goes on rather than something that's quick and easy. In terms of our students, we therefore prepare our students to be skilled in terms of mental skills training, traditional sports psychology, but much more than that, because we know inside professional football, professional sport, elite sport in particular, you're going to face a whole range of deeper, broader challenges that are to do with sport and even your broader life. And that means they're going to have to use approaches that are sufficiently broad. So we make no bones about it. We do some counselling work, and our applied students here in applied sports psychology and science and football and the sports psychology masters are supported to go in and develop the skills and the knowledge to work that way with athletes. And it's really well received by professional football clubs. We've got contacts that have developed either through students who've come here onto the programme, undergraduate and postgraduate, so contacts in the States and in Europe. We've also got links, let's just talk about football again, links in terms of supporting psychologists and supporting governing bodies in sports psychology across the world, because again they can recognise that the approach that we use is rare and unique because it's been grounded in the professional game. There are very, very few places where that is the case, and so that allows us to go to many other countries of the world and present our research, talk about our applied engagement, and it's generally extremely well received. So that helps to build up an international profile, both students and staff engaging with us here and giving us opportunities as well as our students for field visits, trips of one sort or another abroad, and doing research again that's welcome right across Europe and the world. It's one of the ways that we design our sort of research projects, undergraduate and postgraduate level, is if you like, not to drive it from theory primarily, but to drive it from the field. So the vocational element is absolutely central to this university, it's central to this school, and central to our psychology and development unit. So much of our project work starts from what's the need out there in the sports industry, including in elite sport, professional sport, and particularly football in our case here. So that informs the kind of theory we draw on, the kind of research that we critique and that we use. So it's very much that way to, number one, ensure that when our students leave here, they've got some of the skills, the competence, the knowledge, the understanding that will make them have a better chance than many other institutions, quite frankly, to get jobs in that really demanding environment. They will, appoint people based on a number of factors, but not one of the most important one, but in our experiences, do the students understand something about the culture that they're about to step into? And we think we do a reasonably good job on that.